Hello and welcome to Journey of Crafting. Today I'm going to make a pocket for the Happy Planner. It's going to be kind of like a folder, but it's going to be a pocket. So what I'm going to do is I have a small stash of gift bags and I have grabbed one of them. It is a horizontal bag versus a taller bag that is vertical. So honestly, you can do it either or. You can use the vertical bags that are taller, or you can use the horizontal bags that are wider versus taller. It honestly doesn't matter. Just use whatever you have available. You can put multiple pieces of paper together. You can really, whatever you want to do, that's your limit, honestly, whatever it is that you want to do. So I grabbed a bag, and the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to disassemble it, and I'm going to take I already took the plastic piece off. I went ahead and took it off because in the last video that I made with the bags, it kind of like was ornery and it didn't want to come off. So I didn't want it to take extra time. This one actually came off like super quick. So it's just like, well, that was a waste. But, you know, it still came off and it was fine. So right now all we're going to do is we're going to take these handles and we're going to set them aside. I honestly have no idea if I will ever use them, but for now we're just going to set them aside. Now I keep folding this back and forth. The reason is because I want this crease right here to be very prominent on the non-folded side, and that'll make sense here in just a minute. So what we're going to do is I'm going to, let's see, the first thing that I'm going to do is unfold this, like I was saying about disassembling the bag, because I don't necessarily want to cut the entire bag, I think. So I've made one of these already. I've made a folder. I haven't made this particular design yet, so this is my first. You guys are my guinea pig, if you will. And they really glued this sucker down. Oh my gosh. So hopefully your bag is not quite as ornery as this one. Oh my goodness gracious. I can smell the glue. That's how like pungent it is. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. So anyway, you know, take your scraps, you throw them, well, that scrap, you throw it away. Now you have a natural fold right here. Just fold the bottom of the bag in that direction, and all this is going to do is, you may not even keep it that way, but right now what this is going to do is it's going to make life a lot easier when working with this bag. So now everything is nice and flat. Now this is how our pocket is going to sit in our folder. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to cut off this tail end. Now this was the back, or the bottom, sorry, the bottom of the bag, if you remember. So I don't think this is going to fit in my trimmer. Oh, I lied, it's going to. And as soon as I say the word cut or trim or anything, my daughter like comes running over here, no matter where she's at. She could be upstairs and she comes running over here and she's like, I want to do it. I'm like, all right, just a minute, let me line it up. So all I'm going to do is that bottom line, that bottom crease that was on the bag, that is where I'm lining up just a second. That's where I'm lining up this wire. And so she's going to try to push this down, or to push this across, but I'm not sure it's going to cut the whole, go ahead. I'm not sure it's going to cut the whole thing because you've got folded material in there. Yeah, it didn't cut the whole thing. So if you're using a trimmer, just make sure that you you push down extra hard. You can save some of this. Some of this is still good material. So I'm going to hold on to that. Let's see. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to unfold this and we're going to unfold this. Okay, so if you look inside this bag, you can see that there's a flap right here. We want this flap. So what we're going to do is we're going to very, very, very carefully take apart this bag at this seam. we're going to have to unfold this portion here. These bags, man, they're not cooperating with me today. Alright, unfold this. Now, why did I just unfold that, you might ask? Because that it comes all the way up to that fold. So we want to very carefully, because we don't really necessarily need this portion to stay intact. We don't need the integrity of that to stay intact, but we do need the integrity of this flap to stay intact. We don't care what it looks like, we just need it to work. So, and what I mean by that is that we can't like rip it to shreds and then it's not there. We can create our own, but if you don't want to, if you don't have a scoreboard, if you don't have a bone folder or anything else that would work for a bone folder, this just saved that entire step for you. And if you watched my previous video, then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And that should be linked down below. So, what I'm going to do is take this little flap and this template here. Alright. Now, excuse me. Thank you. Now, we're going to measure where our fold should happen. Now, we are not cutting here. We're just folding. So honestly, this is super simple. You take a ruler, you set it right beside it, and you fold it up. That's it. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be folded. So I'm going to take this ruler here. I'm going to, I don't need that right now. I'm going to line this up with my mark I just made. And I'm going to fold. Nope, I don't need that. She's trying to give me a bone folder. So all I'm doing is I'm pushing my finger up against the ruler, but make sure that you hold this ruler down very firmly so you're not moving it with the pressure of your other hand. So then you just make the crease final. And you can use a bone folder, absolutely. You don't need to, just use your fingers, use what you have. So now we're going to have this over here, okay? So, what? She's putting her pencil in her head. No, don't stab me in the head with it. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to draw this line here, all the way up, all the way down, okay? Now we're going to do the exact same thing. Now, if you don't want all of these creases and whatnot, use a different portion of the bag. Honestly, with me, it doesn't matter because I plan on chopping off a lot of it, and it'll make sense here in a minute. So, I don't need that. She keeps trying to hand me the bone folder. I don't know if you guys can see that. I haven't looked up at the camera, but she keeps like putting it. Oh, I really don't need that. She picked up my knife. It's closed. See, it's closed. But she like picked it up, tried to hand it to me. All right. So we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to hold down this ruler and we're going to push up against the ruler. Don't just slide it straight down like I just did, because you're just going to create another crease in your paper or material that you don't necessarily want. So we're going to move the ruler out of the way, and now, bag man, now we are going to make that crease final and push it all the way down. Alright, now this is what we're going to cut right here, what we just made. So we take this and we can cut it across. Take this and this and this and move it all the way over. Now, honestly, I'm not sure why I folded it. You don't need to. You just need to cut it. I just gave you guys an extra step to do. Because, you know, I'm just mean like that. Well, if you ask my kids, I am mean. But, you know, what mom isn't mean to their kids? Like, I tell my daughter no. She's like, you're mean. I'm like, I'm sorry. This is my oldest, not my youngest. My youngest just has a lot more manners than that. Ironically, it's like the older they get, the less manners they get. It's weird. So anyway, we've got our paper folded, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to decide what do we want to have our front and our back. Now, if you notice, our holes are right here. Our tag was right here. Holes, and you have where the tag is. So you need to decide how you want to cover that up, how you want to disguise that. You could do stickers, you could do whatever, but make sure that you finish your project before you worry about that. And what I mean by that is what we're going to do now is this flap here. We're going to take our double-sided tape, and we didn't do this last time. We didn't have to fold, but we are this time, just because it'll make life a little easier. So we're going to take our double-sided tape. We're going to lay it all the way across, pretty much where we ripped it up. But we're going to put, depending on how wide your double-sided tape is, we're going to put 2 strips down. Mine is only 1/4 of an inch. Well, this roll is only 1/4 of an inch, and it's what I have handy, so that's what I'm using. If you have an inch, or a 1/2 inch rather, then you'll only need 1 strip. I have fuzz on my tape. Then you'll only need 1 strip, but, you know, use what you have. Don't, like, go out and buy something just because you're going to maybe possibly use it once. And definitely don't do what I do and just buy things because they're cute and have no idea what you're going to do with them. I mean, I guess in a way it's okay, because then when you get inspired to do something, you're like, oh wait, I bought that, you know, so and so long ago. You're just going to peel your backing off. You're going to make sure that this lays down super straight and flat, and push down. Now, I only did 1 backing at a time because I wanted to make sure that it was nice and straight and flat before I did the second backing. You just flip this flap up just a little bit. I don't know if you guys can see that. And then you just use your nails, use your knife, use, you know, you can use a pokey tool. I don't know what they're called. They're called pokey tool to me. And you just peel that up. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, it ripped. So I have to go over here and pull from the bottom, because the backing ripped about halfway down. There we go. Alright, so now we're just going to push the whole thing down. Okay? So, we do have a little bit of whiteage on this side, but don't worry about that just yet. So, which side's going to be your front, which side's going to be your back? That's what we need to decide. Okay? So, do we want this to be the front, or do we want the other side to be the back, or the front? Doesn't matter to me one way or another. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this the front. That way I have less to trim down over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ruler again and determine, my chair is like super squeaky. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it's driving me nuts. I need some WD-40 on that thing. So decide how far up you want this pocket to go. If you want it to go halfway, look about halfway, and then go down and cut straight across. If you want it to go, you know, up a little bit, then go up a little bit and go straight across. However you want to do it. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of eyeball it and say from the top corner up here down. And that's, I don't know what kind of angle that is, but, and this is a cutting mat, so I'm going to cut on it. This is going to be fun because I'm not too hot at this razor thing. If this is straight, I will be surprised. If it gets cut through, I will be surprised. Oh, look at that. Alright, so, well, that's not straight. But what I can do is I can trim. So I'm significantly better with the scissors. I don't know why. Normally, people would be better with the knife because, you know, it's against the straight edge. You don't have to worry about, like, the measurements or whatever. And don't touch my knife or my glue. She's, like, just poking my glue gun that's over here. That is on, by the way. So, now what we're going to do is we're going to trim this bottom piece over here that we didn't trim earlier. And if you wanted to, you could kind of angle your scissors so it went underneath that fold. And that's that. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to put some washi on the bottom and on the top. Now, if you wanted to avoid the washi, you can do a couple things. You could take this piece of paper here and you can cut off about a quarter of an inch strip of this paper. Just like this. Okay, and you're only going to need one of these. It will cut two because it's folded in half. You're only going to need one. Well, it kind of cut two. Now, you see how this is angled like this? We're going to cut the other side the same way. And the only thing that you really need to do is you take the corner of it right here and you cut up just a little bit. Now you have two pieces. So now what we're going to do is we're going to cut this down just a tiny bit more. We're going to shorten it a tiny bit more because it's just a hair too long. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this smack dab in the middle of this piece of paper. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to put this right here on the end like that. It's going to go on the inside right there. So what I'm going to do with that is you can do a couple different things. You can use a glue stick, which would probably be better, honestly. Yeah, I think I'm going to, no, I'm going to have to use this because it is a folder. So all you're going to do is you're going to take your double-sided tape or glue stick, or, you know, whatever it is you want to use. If you want to use cement, I don't recommend it, but you can. It will probably warp your paper. And no, I don't mean concrete cement. Just in case anybody was wondering. So we're just going to put this on both sides. And we are going to take the backing off of one side at a time to make it a little bit easier to deal with. Now, something else that you could do is you could cut one of the sides of this off. Like, you cut this side, basically, so it's set like this, and cut this portion off. So this portion right here would be left, and you would fold it up, and you basically do the exact same thing that we're doing right now, only it would be more of a, well, actually, it wouldn't be more of a pocket. It'd still be the same. But if you did it before you cut the whole thing, then it would be more of a pocket. I really hope that makes sense to you guys. I'll probably end up making another video explaining what the heck I just said. Because as I'm sitting here talking about it, I'm realizing that it's probably not going to make sense to you guys. So yeah, you just put that right on the inside. So that is on the inside now. Now we're going to take the backing off of this, and we're going to push it down. Take the backing off. Okay. And then we're going to push the whole thing down. Now, if you wanted to, you could decorate the whole thing with washi, but now you don't have to if you don't want to. So now you have a pocket. Okay. Now, because we sealed it on this side and this side, this is a standalone pocket. You could glue it to a folder. You could put it in your notebook. You could put it in your happy planner if you wanted to. Save your scraps, especially large pieces like that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to figure out where my holes are going to be. I'm going to mark them, and then I'm going to cut them out like so. Just be mindful that you mark all of the holes, not just some of them, because I think I skipped like 3 at the bottom. Not chew in my ear. She like came over here chewing on something. And she's chewing in my ear.
It's called chip.
I don't think it is called a chip. Okay, so I'm just gonna punch these in.
Can I do that?
And then no. I should give her practicing with like punching and lining up stuff because she always wants to do the punching when I do it.
Yeah.
So this, what? So all I'm doing here is I'm punching the holes out that I marked, and then I'm going to cut the slits out so they can actually go into the planner. Now, before you put it in the planner, you could actually put some hole reinforcements that you've decorated, and you can put them there if you wanted to. You don't have to. It's a pretty thick paper, so it's not really needed. If you use something like a cardstock, you really don't need it because the cardstock is super heavy, especially if you use like the 110 pound. The 110 is like, you might as well be making stuff with cardboard. Honestly, I've seen cardboard that is not as thick as that 110 pound paper. That stuff ain't no joke. It's crazy. And it's really like hard to bend, but that's because it's so heavy. So I'm just going to cut these out, and I'm trying to like include this stuff in the video itself so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing, the exact time that it takes to make something like this with like no editing. I do have one spot that I had to edit out. I don't remember if it was in this video or another video, but it was like, I didn't do anything. I had to pause the video, I had to take care of something, and then I came back to finish what I was doing. So you have this completely done now. And like I said, you could, if you wanted to, you could decorate the top of it. You could also decorate the bottom of it, or you could decorate the sides or whatever. You could also punch, like if you have I do not have a border punch as of this second, but if you have a border punch, you could punch like the sides, like the front rather. That way it's easier to get into the pocket, but it still is quite functional. This is the video that I had made before. If you're interested in that, it will be in the links down below. This is a traditional pocket for your happy planner. This is a half pocket for your happy planner. And so that is it, my dearies. And yeah, so you have your pocket here, and it's a half, so you can see no matter what you put into your pocket, you can see what it is. And I don't have anything like right offhand. There we go. So you can see what it is when you put it in your pocket, like that. So yeah, if you guys like this video, definitely give me a thumbs up. And if you have any comments, suggestions, or requests, make sure that you put them in the comments down below, and I will do my best to get to those videos as soon as humanly possible. If you have not subscribed to my channel already, please do so. I upload videos on a very regular basis. Most of the time I do them daily. And also too, make sure that you keep tuned because there will be a giveaway very, very, very quickly, or very shortly rather, so make sure that you keep tuned for that coming up very soon. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, bye guys.
Bye guys.